So with our handsome Mr. Ethan, hi handsome guy. So today is his first day at doggy day school. He's doing a really nice job. I'm just going to plop his leash over here for now, and then we will use it in a little bit. I know he came on in a harness as well as his collar. So we'll do a little bit of practice with both, like you had mentioned. You'd like to get him comfortable with wearing the collar and at times also the harness. I know the harness you're mentioning, you tend to use it for the long line, which is awesome. Because a lot of times when you're practicing on a longer training lead, it is great for safety reasons to attach it to a body harness. So there's a lot less potentials for damage to the neck and trachea area, which is awesome. So I noticed too his collar does have a buckle, so that's great for safety reasons. If we ever had to take it off in a situation, buckles are beneficial. Some of these martingale collars or limited slip collars don't have a buckle. Ready? Nice check-in, sir. So the problem with that is if you needed to, in a safety situation, try to take it off of him, the trouble there is if there was no buckle, you'd have to somehow magically loosen it while he's having a harder time and maybe still stuck. So I like it if you are using a martingale or limited slip collar is to have that safety of the buckle, which is great. So for Mr. E, ready, Ethan? Nice. Is we might warm up just with some basics. So whenever we're starting something new, I know we have a game plan where we want to work certain skills in particular. I know you had mentioned like loose leash walking. He's a bit of a puller, creating more consistent check-ins with you and focus on you as the handler. So for their very first day, I know Mr. A, as I mentioned earlier, this is not his first rodeo for the day school. For the other three beauties, it is. So right here, you can see he's a little bit, a little stressed. It is his first day. So, but he did just come in from outside. We had a potty break. He did great. Nice job, sir. So right here, anytime he orients to me, I'm going to go ahead and obviously feed the handsome guy for doing these check-ins. I want to, again, create good value in bouncing from the environment or distractions back to the handler. If we don't have these little glimmers of success where we don't reinforce the beginning stages, you may be always looking for the perfect, real big boy, big girl skill, and maybe your babe never quite gets there. So this is where I like to make sure, and he's just getting a little drink of water. There's a nice dish off to the side for them. They each have their own individual zones with waters as well. But in the main training area where we do some of our skills for videos, there's another big dish for all of the babes. So right here, nice, yes. So I'm making sure for Mr. Lovely is anytime he responds to his name or he heads my direction, we're marking and feeding for those skills. So again, Ethan, good job. Yes, nice check-in, sir. If there was ever a moment where he's not doing as well, like I mentioned a little earlier for Miss P, is don't keep repeating yourself, especially if he doesn't either get the concept or if you find that you're by accident creating sort of a nag situation. The problem with repeating is your babe may think that it takes like 5 to 15 recalls to finally come, or they might start to think, you know what, all we ever do is blab. No offense to me, that's what I like to do as well. So you may find that if all we ever do is talk and the talk doesn't always have a correlation to some behavior or reinforcement, your babe may just hear noise and just drown it out. So right here, as Mr. E, he's like, I'm exhausted. I'll do a sit from, oh, you're going to do it down? That's a beautiful down. So we're just feeding for any of the good. Their first day is just building comfort and feeling safe in this bubble. So if we don't always get to go right into working every tidbit we were hoping for, remember that, of course, as the weeks progress, we're going to get more of this comfort range and therefore more reliability and ability for growth for novelty. Oh my gosh, chewing is so hard. Chewing and panting is tricky. Good job, sir. So right now, I know he does this typically at home where he kind of just lays down, relaxes, which is wonderful that we're getting it even in the classroom setting. I know we did a one-on-one together, and he did quite well as he got cozy and went and did some relaxation. So back to loose leash walking. If your babe has a hard time orienting to you, even in the home, I would start to make it where moving into your space and creating value in this association coming to your spot to be very beneficial. If the only time he's mostly getting reinforced at times is for being stationary, like working it down or working a sit, those are all wonderful skills. But I find that as behaviors or distractions get bigger, being stationary becomes harder. So I find for a lot of the babes, this orientation to the handler from find it or from odors and then bouncing back, really nice. So again, right here, I might go into a little find it, see if I can get the handsome guy up. Then I might go from here into a little kissy noise to get his attention. Yes, feed for that. So for loose leash walking, we're going to start off first off gear, and then I'm going to show you on gear. But then I also want to dive into like what's called leash pressure, and we'll get into that in just a second. So I don't care if he's on the left or the right. The main goal in the beginning is I just want him to think that there's a benefit to being near the crazy snack lady. So again, yes, right now we're trying to create this behavior through luring. Later, you're going to, again, he's already pooped out, is later you're going to go ahead and not everybody has tons of stamina. We're all different for their abilities, for their comfort range, for their duration for practice. So it is a little bit of a warmer day. I do have the AC on, but it only pops on when it's like 75 because it's a big space to try to cool off. But it feels cooler in here by a lot compared to outside because I know today was going to be a little bit of a warmer day. So for right now, I'm sometimes also just capturing nice skills, nice behavior, because I want this handsome guy to start feeling very cozy in this new bubble and would practice with me. So obviously, as I've mentioned in some previous videos, and again, cough drop for me, dog snacks from this side. So for the handsome guy, we might have moments where obviously generalizing skills takes time, reps, and a lot of great practice. So practicing now with a brand new person versus, again, his family members, this is where one more little element of novelty might create more confusion in the beginning until you can start to generalize and get more cozy with some of these behaviors and skill sets. So for the handsome guy, if let's say, oh, bug, there could be another good distraction. So we might get him up and wiggling in, maybe with a little find it. I know he gets a little bit tired kind of fast. So because he's a great Pyrenees mix and a few other friends thrown in there. So we're going to, again, try to keep some of the loose leash walking short and sweet for greater success. So if we're trying to go for a real world walk, we may be by accident not getting enough of a foundation first as to what we would like before we throw in the difficulty of the distractions, the environment, and other setups. So for Mr. Handsome over here, he's doing a real nice job. Ready? He's like, oh my gosh, I just noticed there's toys over here. So when working with loose leash walking, I know we sort of touched base on it very lightly when we had our session, is we want to make sure, oh, what do you think about that bad boy? He's like, that seems intriguing. So let's say maybe he's interested in the toys. I know we were discussing a little bit earlier with Miss P. Ready? Oh, what do you think? About toys could be another great way to create oh, he's like, yes, ma'am. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to create some focus on me. Maybe a toy is a better option than food. Good job. So we may find for Mr. Handsome, just like I was trying with Miss P earlier, is toys could be more reinforcing than the food. So maybe if, let's say, loose leash walking is more challenging for this guy, we may find that building value in something like play to use that as reinforcement, ready, let's go, could be really helpful. So I would use my toy to get this really nice engagement for a few steps and then good. And then into some play. What a smart boy. So in two, if he's not as good at take it and drop it, like I mentioned a little earlier for Miss P, is you could practice again with a find it, or you could feed directly, and then once he lets go, he gets a little bonus bit. You could also do this with two toys. So you have one toy, that toy comes alive, and the other original toy kind of goes limp and stops moving. So that way you could practice between the two. Nice job, sir. Ready? Oh my goodness. So you can see that he is, got some really nice toy drive. Ready with me? Or let's go. So you guys would want to pick a slogan that makes sense for loose leash walking. So like with my guys, I might say, let's go. You could say with me. So right now we're using this toy, getting this really, really beautiful engagement. Good. And then we go into some play again. Nice job. So again, he's doing a splendid job, and toys might be more up his alley. Good job. So he's so stinking cute. He's like, lady, I almost caught it. Good job. So again, we don't want to make it too hard either, where if let's say we work this for too long, ready, let's go, then it could turn into like, I always work so hard, and maybe it's too much work, and then he doesn't want to put in the work later. So short and sweet sessions for the win. So this is really pretty. He's like, you see, he's getting winded, but he also has an itch, and that's allowed. Good job. So right into this gorgeous play again. Oh my goodness, where's it going? He's like, I caught it. So definitely rotate through different types of reinforcement items so you can start to gain some of this lovely practice with him. So again, I kind of hold my toy towards my chest or off to the side in the beginning when the dogs don't always quite know what to do. If again, I don't care if he's on the left or the right, the main goal is that while he's engaged and he's kind of honing in on you for being there, good. We could then get some play again. So this is really nice play behavior that we're getting out of this handsome guy. Mr. E is doing a very nice job. And he's going to be so nice and tired when he goes home. Two guys, when they do go home today, remember that a lot of times, even though they're not working the whole entire time while they're here for their stay, they are hearing, seeing the sights and sounds, seeing each other, all that fun. So you will still have a pup that might be rather tired, but when they get tired, some of them get overtired and then they go a little bananas. So I would highly recommend some nice quiet downtime when they get home. So like a nice little potty break, and then give them a chew or a puzzle toy or something they tend to hone in on, and then give them that little rest period. And then that way they can almost reboot, and then you can start again with your typical routine come the afternoon, evening. Good job, sir. He's like, no, I only want the toy. So obviously you saw with Ethan, he did a good job, is that toy drive might be more up his alley than food now. So if you're finding, like, lady, give it back, that toys are for the win, he also really loved the flirt pole. So I want to show you that one if you've never seen one. Drinking seltzer is a bad idea, but of course with my tickle, I just got to keep it hydrated. You don't want any snacks? He says, no, I'm over it. So I'm just going to grab a quick little sip so I don't get too tickly in my throat, because of course dealing with a broken foot and a lovely cold has been really fun. And we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of play, and then I want to get back onto leash pressure. So let's say, for example, this is what's called a flirt pole. It does have a handle. He's like, lady, I'm so ready. I do recommend use the handle because this one has a bungee rope, and we don't want to, by accident, let go of the stick and then bonk the puppy by mistake with the pole. So you'll see that I keep the toy low for the handsome guy. I don't want him to jump up high and land funny. So right now we're getting him to practice chasing and doing lots of normal doggy behavior onto an appropriate item, which is so nice for him. So right now, chasing, I do want to let him, of course, catch the critter. So he likes to smell it and check it out. And he's like, why is it not moving? He wants me to make it wiggle again. So I go, you ready? And then we go ahead and play again. What a good boy. So this could be a great way to expend a little bit more energy for your handsome guy without you having to go quite as heavy yourself. I would recommend, like I mentioned, keep it on the floor, and then also make sure that the ground or the place you're practicing has good traction. So if you're trying this inside, I normally don't recommend it because most homes, I mean, he's a bigger boy in general, but even for the littles, if you're going to be trying a flirt pole, I do not recommend doing it on tile or slippery type materials like flooring that is wood, because if there's no traction, you're more than likely going to potentially cause an injury to your dog, because as they're running and jostling and being wild, they're going to try to reach for it and they might slip and slide and they can potentially hurt themselves. So even for playing fetch in the home or playing fetch in general, I would be careful with how you're doing fetch as well, because younger dogs, especially while they're developing and growing, if the ball is turning into like a high intensity sort of almost sport, there's a lot of running and stopping and pivoting, and it can cause arthritis in a dog as young as 1. So I'm not saying not to play with your dog. I'm just saying make sure you're doing it safely. Just like with us, if we go hard at the gym and we don't know what we're doing, we're more than likely going to cause an actual injury than become a fit, healthy person. So definitely make sure that how you're playing is in a way that is not potentially causing harm to you or the pup or to also the relationship. So like right here, you can see the toy stays low. Mr. Handsome says this is the greatest day of his life. He is a flirt pole fan. But I want him to be able to catch the critter too. So I don't make this so hard he never catches it. Remember, as I mentioned with Miss P, you want to have this ability to have like an on-off switch. So let's say he catches the critter and he wants to start tugging. If your puppy starts tugging, I like to lower it and step on it. So if he were to tug and let go, it's not going to ricochet and slap you. My son found out the hard way that when he was having the puppy grab and play a little bit, at one point the puppy let go and then it got him. So he was okay, but of course it just doesn't feel great. So right here, we might go ready, get his attention, and I'm going to see if I can get him to do a little check-in. If he's too far gone, remember this is his first day. It won't be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Remember, behavior has to build. So a lot of times if we're trying something brand new, he may not know what the steps are, and it's not going to be perfect when we first start. So if, let's say, again, notice how the slappy. So we want to make sure that if he does pull on it, you sometimes will move into his space or lower the stick and step on it and work it that way. So again, I don't want to get him too tired because I want him to also be able to work a few other little skills. But you can see that the flirt pole might be one of his new best friends. So we'll give him maybe a little breather from the flirt pole, and then we'll work a few more skills, and then we'll do a little bit with leash pressure as well, but we'll give him a little break because he's doing such a good job. He's like, greatest day ever. Ready this way, my lovey. So, but flirt pole, if you're looking for some, you can find them on Amazon. There's all different brands, and we'll dive into that as well if you have questions later.